Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Packed house inside Allen Fieldhouse. 205th consecutive sellout at the 5. Starting lineups for Oklahoma State and Kansas. Cowboys go with Brown, Smart, Williams, Nash, and Murphy. Jayhawks start Wayne Selden Jr., Wiggins, Ellis, and the freshman Embiid. The sixth man is in full force. And this is the 162nd all-time meeting between Kansas and Oklahoma State. John Higgins, Doug Sherman, Pete Kimball, our officiating crew here this afternoon.
Bert, you talked about it. It's as electric an environment as we have in college basketball. And one advantage for Oklahoma State, they have familiarity, obviously winning here last year, and returning the nucleus of that team for Travis Ford.
Beat Kansas 85-80 last season here at Allen Fieldhouse, and it is Kansas controlling the tip. We're underway. Nadir Tharp, the point guard for the Jayhawks, was benched earlier this season. He's responded well. Working around the perimeter on a dump down. Ellis leans in for the bucket.
And Bill Self, typically his teams, as good as anybody in the country, are playing strong side, weak side, shifting the eyes and the feet of the defense. Great seal by Ellis and the finish.
Oklahoma State 15-2, an 82-50 win over TCU on Wednesday night. Nash makes his move to the hoop, and he lays it in.
And that's going to be an important play. They're going to trap Marcus Smart when he's in pick and roll, and they run a lot of pick and rolls. And that pass, when they swing, you're going to have opportunities if you're LeBron and Nash to attack the defense before they're set.
Wiggins is fouled on the outside by Brian Williams. So first foul assessed here. And the junior from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, will pick it up.
In Kansas, a decided advantage in terms of their height, but what makes Oklahoma State so great is that right there, the ball instincts of their guards. They're all terrific rebounders. They're always around the action.
Markel Brown, left hand. It's rejected by Embiid. Out of bounds.
And we didn't touch upon it at the top, but folks, you are in for a treat today with this young man. Joel Embiid has he's a graceful, athletic big, and instinctively still learning the game, but has such a flow to his rhythm on the floor. It's rare you see an athlete that graceful at that size.
7 foot, 250 pounds from Cameroon. Just 1 year of high school basketball at the Rock School in Gainesville, Florida. Tied at 2, just over a minute gone by in this first half. Smart, crossover, off the penetration. Brown, the open man, it rims out. And rebounded by Embiid. Clark gets it up the floor. Two-man game, Selden fires off the mark.
Off on that one, but Wayne Selden Jr. has really shot the three well since they started conference play, and a nice jumper there by Nash.
And that smooth delivery by LeBron Nash. He's really developed now in his junior year as a combo swingman.
A terrific talent who tends to play better when he starts the game well. So 2 for 2 here early on.
There's Tharp. Give it up. Selden, the jumper. Williams up high for the board.
And you saw early on Kansas intent to attack the interior. The last few possessions, though, settling an offensive foul there on Nash.
A lean-in by LeBron Nash. He was working against Perry Ellis.
Just looking to attack. Folks, this is Oklahoma State. They like to attack early in transition in the shot clock before the defense is set. And they have several guys with that ability, Nash being one, unable to convert on that possession.
We mentioned that Kansas fell to Oklahoma State here in Lawrence last year. They then retaliated with a 68-67 double overtime win on the road against the Cowboys. Spread the floor, Oklahoma State up by 2. Trying to get it to Embiid. Jumper Wiggins, no. Rebounded by Ellis. Takes it up strong for the deuce.
You know, this is where I think Kansas has made the biggest improvement from earlier in the season. They are a much better rebounding team. I didn't think they took advantage of their athleticism earlier in the season. And you can see Ellis here not settling. They lost to San Diego State here a few weeks ago, and you can see how much more aggressive they are on the offensive glass, and they did not get any second shots. San Diego State's a terrific defensive rebounding team, but if you're Kansas, that cannot be the case. You have to be able to match the energy and the intensity of a good opponent.
Embiid gets called on the foul on the perimeter for getting tied up with Brown. Here's Smart. Using the screen. Set by Murphy. Smart the jumper. No. Rebound. Williams. He's got major hops. Williams the floater. Rebounded by Ellis. Nadir Thought comes in averaging 9 points, 5 assists per game. And a whistle. Clock issue as the officials stop it. Head coach of Oklahoma State, Travis Ford, now in his 6th year. And it's been an adjustment. They dealt with a major injury. Michael Cobbins going down with a ruptured left Achilles. He gave them their muscle. He gave them their inside presence.
You can see here the clock's going to stick at 31, and officials do a good job of recognizing that early enough to where they can hopefully get that resolved. But you were talking about Bill Self there. This group is really starting to show great promise here. A lot of hype and expectation coming in, and unfortunately when you have freshmen, they haven't had an opportunity to adjust to the speed, the athleticism, the intensity of Division I basketball. Now they're rounding into shape in terms of understanding what they have to bring on a day-to-day basis.
Well, there's no avoiding it. Wiggins was the nation's top recruit, and the hype and the expectations were so high before the season. I'm not sure anybody would have lived up to it. Just now, you're starting to see him put his fingerprints on games across the board.
It's a great point. He had the monster game against Iowa State. 17 points, 19 rebounds, just all over the floor.
Wiggins, baseline drive, and Williams called on a reach-in. So that is number 2 on Brian Williams.
And that's important because now they'll come with Forte, who is their designated three-point shooter, but then they get a lot smaller as a group. Their team defense is going to have to be really solid here in the half court.
Phil Forte, the sophomore from Flower Mound, Texas. 5'11". Williams exits. He's 6'5", 210. Here's Thorpe. The pull-up pop. Book it.
And that's his game. Nadir Thought right there is a terrific pull-up jump shooter. The strength of his game, finding the opportunities more and more with consistency as the season progresses.
Markel Brown swings it for Smart. On a switch, Smart off the double. Open man, Forte, corner jump. No good.
And how about the rotation out by Wiggins to contest that?
Look out, Selden! Blocking foul.
And one of the issues for Oklahoma State, they do attack the offensive boards with their guards, which means you're going to have transition opportunities if you can control that defensive backboard. Kansas looking at every opportunity to get out in transition.
And that's the second foul now on LeBron Nash. He got called on that offensive foul earlier. So Wayne Selden Jr. at the line, and Travis Ford is forced into changes early. Williams to the bench with 2. Nash will sit, and Marek Socek, the 7-footer from the Czech Republic, will come in.
And let's see the kind of energy he's going to be able to bring. This, again, a different animal if you're Oklahoma State, having to go this deep into the bench for Travis Ford this early into the game.
Pair of free throws. Wayne Selden Jr., freshman from Roxbury, Massachusetts.
Impressed early on, Bird, with the rotations out of that trap of the pick and roll by Kansas. Oklahoma State has not been as good weak side at attacking. It creates a mini transition opportunity for you on the weak side.
Brown off the rim. 8-4, Kansas in front. On the push by Thorpe. Here's Ellis. Left hand, short, deflected, out of bounds by Murphy. The Kansas Jayhawks up early.
Greg Gumbel in New York. Here's how Oklahoma and Baylor wound down. Baylor down 2 And Royce O'Neal will get the shot away, unfortunately, just after time expired. Baylor's now lost 3 of its last 4. No more home winning streak. Ian and Greg, back to you guys.
All right, Greg, thanks very much. Here in Lawrence, Marcus Smart. He's the focal point for any team going against him.
He really is. And take a look at how Kansas is going to play. They're going to get a pick and roll there. And what's important, though, is that you're going to have attack angles here for LeBron Nance, because when you have to send bigs out on that double team, that leaves your backline defense susceptible to penetration and then weak side jump shots. It's about the decision-making for Oklahoma State in this first half to try to stem the tide, because if they attack it aggressively and effectively, then you're going to see Marcus Smart get more opportunities, because they'll be reluctant, Kansas, to continue to extend that double team.
Off the deflected ball, inbounds, Jayhawks maintain it. A little bit of that new look for Kansas with their uniforms.
A new look and also a new defense. They've got a little 1-3-1 here.
Jump shot doesn't go for Selden. Rebound controlled by Brown for the Cowboys.
And Travis Ford will do a lot of that. And
oh, that's a bomb. Forte.
Goodness.
On the money on a 3-ball.
Absolutely no conscience. That was beyond the NBA three-pointer there. You're not even ready to play defense at that point.
Wiggins can't answer. And rebound scooped up by Smart. Lead feed to Brown. On the baseline drive, Forte, ball fake. Just over 5 minutes going by in this first half. 8-7 lead for Kansas.
Yeah, good job in transition there by Kansas, though, to force Oklahoma State to play more 5-on-5. If the game's played 5-on-5, that's where the size will make more of a difference for the Jayhawks.
Give it up for Murphy, and he's called for steps.
Oklahoma State with a little bit of foul trouble. And then look at this, folks. That's about 25, 26 feet. And there was never a doubt catching it in rhythm. That is such a difficult guard for Kansas, because when in transition, because of the great rebounding guards of Oklahoma State, you're going to be cross-matched. And that's where Forte gets a lot of his opportunities.
Start on a 3.
He is just a totally different player since he had his little conversation with Bill Self earlier this season. His confidence is back, and the trust his teammates have in him is as well.
Murphy puts it on the floor. Hard to the hole, and it's dropped. Tarek Black now in the game. Former starter with Memphis, former starter with Kansas, until Embiid was just too good to keep on the bench. Here's Tharp on a kick for Wiggins. And that's a travel.
And those are the areas right there for Wiggins where he's going to have to get a little better. A lot of it has to do with the speed of the game. He's going to have to slow it down a little bit and set his moves up before. And that's just a process for young players that they have to develop.
Frank Mason, the freshman for Kansas, on the floor for the first time. He'll be matched up with Marcus Smart for Oklahoma State. Brown against Wiggins. Forte pops to the outside.
Great hedge there by Black off that pin down.
Smart trying to split defenders, and a foul called against Mason. For all your college basketball scores and news, download the CBS Sports app. Go to cbssports.com/mobile to get it now. Message and data rates may apply.
And that's where I think the pick and roll can be effective for Oklahoma State, when they go weak side, strong side, and move the defense so that they can't have 5 sets of eyes on the basketball. That's when Kansas is really good. When they can set down and set their defense, that's when they can create a lot of problems.
And the steal. Mason stepping in front, and a foul called on Stevie Clark. That was off the inbounds. Hammonds just took responsibility for it. Leighton Hammonds, another freshman. A lot of young players playing in a big game here in the Big 12.
That's a great call, and let's face it, I think this crowd is definitely having an impact on some of those younger players. Oftentimes, it can make you about a half step slower.
Traylor lays it in, and the foul. A sophomore, Jamari Traylor. brings energy to this Kansas squad and a chance at a three-point play.
Burr, great execution here and a terrific decision and read there by Wiggins on that interior pass. And Taylor with the finish.
So Jamari Traylor, 77% shooter. Now at the line, Smart returns. That was a short breather. 16 fouls against Oklahoma State. Kansas has its largest lead.
And the scripts being flipped, if you will, for Oklahoma State. They're typically the team that lives at the free throw line. 31 attempts a game and 21 makes, which leads the conference. But it's been the aggression of Kansas and also the discipline to set the tone early on.
Oklahoma State has not been to the free throw line yet in this first half. Forte gives it up for Clark. Smart, pump fake on a three. Brown will take it and hits.
Silky smooth. And sometimes, as great a player as Markel Brown is, it gets lost because of the sheer brilliance of Marcus Smart. But folks, this guy, one of the very best guards in America.
Tharp forced to give it up. Playing alongside Mason. On a back end. Black pivots and scores. Tariq Black with a veteran move underneath.
Yeah, and Socek just not apt enough defensively.
Brown rims out, and it's rebounded by Traylor. Smart times it and takes it away. On a cross-court feed, shooting practice, Forte. Bottom.
And we go back to it. Ball instincts, folks. This guy is the best I've seen in the country. I got to go all the way back to Gary Payton.
Really?
I've just never seen a guy who is just always around the basketball. He's a terrific rebounder. He reads passing lanes. We got Aaron Rodgers here today. He might pick Aaron if he were a defensive back. This guy just does a terrific job with his eyes.
Wiggins with the force. And fortunate for Kansas, it was knocked out of bounds by Oklahoma State. Timeout.
Marcus Smart is one of the best.
Any other network. I think Aaron Rodgers would rather be in Seattle, but with that said, the season coming to an end for Green Bay, this was on his bucket list to see a Kansas Jayhawk game at the Fob.
Yeah, he's good friends with Bill Self, and he's a huge basketball fan. He was telling me yesterday he played in high school, and you know, we were out shooting some jump shots.
And
he's got a nice jumper. He's not just a talented thrower.
Really?
He's a shooter as well.
You saw his outside shot. You saw
it looked good. Nice
perimeter
form, elbow was tucked. Impressed. Very.
16-13, Kansas in front. Nadir Tharp being watched by Forte. Tharp, long jumper, knocked upstairs. Controlled by Kansas. Frank Mason with the board. Selden on the kick. Mason lines it up. Can't hit the three. Rebound, Forte. Able to save. Excellent effort.
Great job. And again, Travis Ford switching defenses. He's already went to the 1-3-1. That time the 2-3. Bill Self's made an adjustment. He's going small. 2 point guards in the game as well.
Markel Brown. Swing it. Smart. The dish inside. Foul called. Kamari Murphy underneath the rim.
And there's the luxury for Oklahoma State. The versatility of Marcus Smart. He doesn't just run the head of your offense. He can be on the back line. They bring him off a pin down. Beautiful curl. Forces the help and a nice little pocket pass there to Murphy.
And the first free throws of the half for Oklahoma State. It will be Kamari Murphy, the Brooklyn native, out of Lincoln High School, then IMG Academy in Florida. Wiggins, quick breather for him. He's back on the floor, replacing Nadir Tharp. So more responsibility now for Murphy. That injury we talked about with Cobbins, ruptured left Achilles. Murphy had been coming off the bench, backing up power forward and center. Now he is starting, the man in the middle.
And Travis Ford felt like they'd be fine with Murphy. The problem then is when Murphy has to go. You know, that bench has gotten a little bit shorter for Oklahoma State.
Cross-court feed, dangerous. Wiggins yet to get involved here offensively for Kansas.
Got to credit in part Oklahoma State's activity there. Listen with a beautiful finish. Great job of spreading the guards of the zone on that possession by Kansas, creating that attack at the top for the young man.
So Frank Mason out of Petersburg, Virginia. His first points against Kansas, a 3-point lead. That activity down low, a foul is called. And it's Brown.
And you can see that pass, when they're a little bit disjointed from a defensive standpoint, was Oklahoma State on that possession, and a terrific read by Mason with the finish.
Oklahoma State turns it over on the foul against Brown. Double team. Underneath. Contested jam. Tarik Black kicked out in the paint.
And this is what we watched Kansas work on all day yesterday, attacking that zone, doing a great job of not settling and being aggressive against it.
Smart misses from long range. Here's Mason dribbling through traffic. The cut. Selden short. Rebound. A foul called. And Smart takes the hit.
Just a great job against the pressure, and a good decision and a read by Traylor and Black, the graduate transfer from Memphis. Oklahoma State was in the running to get him as well. A lot of schools were after that young man. Provides tremendous physicality on that front line, the ability to finish in traffic, scored over 1,000 points in his career. So what a luxury to have a guy like that coming off your bench.
Kansas controlling the paint, 12-2. Nash back in, playing with 2 fouls, and he draws a foul. Going to the hoop. A little bit of pushing after the play as Tarik Black will back off.
Number 22, Andrew Wiggins. His first personal foul, the 5th team foul.
Wiggins picks it up. He's first. And LeBron Nash out of Dallas. 70% free throw shooter at the line. McDonald's All-American. Missing on the first. It's an all-new night of comedy Monday on CBS, beginning with How I Met Your Mother and Two Broke Girls, followed by the hit comedy Mike and Molly and Mom. It all starts Monday at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. Nash misses them both. Kansas up by 5. 9.5 to go in this first half from Allen Fieldhouse. Wiggins on a dump down. 2-man game with Black. Wiggins. Count it.
Bert, you talked about him not being as aggressive, but one of the luxuries and one of the great attributes I think he has is he allows the game to come to him. You can win with him because he's not ball dominant. He affects the game in a lot of areas for his team.
Forte comes up short of a jump shot. Kansas has its largest lead, trying to bring it to double figures. Tharp back in for the Jayhawks. Going up against this zone. Selden the ball fake. Lob it. Black the catch. Oh, he just caught a defender in the mouth. It was Smart. And Tarik Black is having an impact. It is a 9-0 run for Kansas and a timeout. Jayhawks up by 10. Right now, let's take a look at our Applebee's neighborhood favorite. The last time Oklahoma State entered as the higher-ranked team, 2005. They couldn't stop Wayne Simeon, though. Finished with 32 points, 12 rebounds. John Lucas of Oklahoma State had a chance to win it, but his 3 in the final seconds, no good. Kansas, 81. The Cowboys, 79. First meeting came back in 1926. Oklahoma State snapped KU's 33-game home winning streak last season. Kansas has controlled the series, having won 5 of the last 6 matchups, Greg.
And they're also controlling this game primarily with what they've done on the interior. 14-2 points in the paint difference. Kansas shooting 50% from the field, which is around what they shoot for the season, but a lot more efficient. They've taken pretty good care of the basketball as well. And early on here, Oklahoma State really does not have an answer.
Only 2 losses for Oklahoma State this season. They came to Memphis and Kansas State. Smart contested shot. It's an air ball, and they'll hear it from the crowd.
And you're going to need him in order to get back in it. You're going to need your best player to make some plays. He was a little frustrated on the last possession. He felt like Black caught him with an elbow in the face on the putback, and then he was thinking that maybe he was fouled on that shot as well.
Smart is scoreless, 0 of 3 from the field. Oklahoma State shooting 31%. Hard to the hole, Jamari Traylor. Everybody is contributing here for Kansas. Smart turns it over. The drive, Tharp, the trailer. Oh! Big finish! Tarik Black soaring through the air.
With communication comes trust. At Northwestern Mutual, we start by getting to know you. Then together build a financial plan that takes advantage of life's opportunities.
Kansas up 29-15 on Oklahoma State. As the timeout was called, Greg, the two teams had to be separated following this play. The penetration by Tharp and then the slam by Tarik Black.
And you can see here, they're going to get a timeout. A little bit of frustration by Brown on that play there. And you can see why, because early on in this game, it's been all about Kansas. They've been doing the hitting. They've been the ones who have been the aggressors in this game. They've, in essence, taken Oklahoma State's game plan from them. They've been the one doing the disrupting and the agitating, if you will.
And it's a 13-0 run for Bill Self's squad. This Kansas team has won 3 in a row, 6 of their last 7, and it's all starting to click for Kansas. The substitutions, the pattern, the rotation, and then obviously the result on the floor. The officials are taking a look at this right now. Markel Brown took exception to Jamari Traylor, and then Traylor just nodded his head. They exchanged words. Oklahoma State came to the back of Markel Brown to support him, and it never took that next to 1926. One of the top rivalries in this conference, and the two teams that were the preseason picks to lead the conference. Now, a lot has happened. It's become pretty apparent that they could have 7 teams out of the Big 12 in the NCAA tournament. There are only 10 teams in the Big 12, which is interesting in and of itself, Greg.
Yeah, because it is the Big 12. Right?
Big 12 with 10 teams.
And the Big 10 has 12 teams.
It's like jumbo shrimp. It doesn't make sense.
No, the jumbo shrimp is good.
No, it's good. And
okay.
you get in some cocktail sauce.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Okay. let's see if Oklahoma State can get back in this game. They got a little flustered, I thought, there. Out of character a bit.
The officials are going to keep an eye on things. A push called against in Lawrence. Kansas shooting 54% from the field, out rebounding Oklahoma State 14-8, and the points in the paint. No contest so far in favor of the Jayhawks.
You know, one of the big advantages of when you have a young team is the growth you can make from the beginning of the year to now, and that's what you're seeing. The discipline shown by Kansas. They are attacking the weakness of Oklahoma State. They're not settling for jump shots. And conversely, Oklahoma State's a team that lives in the paint. Half of their field goal attempts have been three-pointers. That's not the formula for success if you're Oklahoma State.
Cowboys still trying to snap this 13-0 Kansas run, and Smart is trying to get on the scoreboard. He's been held scoreless so far. 71% shooter. Smart hits on the first. Monday on CBS, the action drama gets an upgrade. Josh Holloway stars in the new thriller, Intelligence. Catch a new episode Monday at 10, 9 Central, only CBS.
And the other issues for Oklahoma State with the foul trouble with Nash, Williams, and Brown, all with 2. You can't be as aggressive with your traps, with your pressure, which also works in the favor of Kansas.
Kansas has foul trouble as well. Mason, Traylor, and Wiggins all have 2. Connor Frankamp, the freshman from Wichita, is in for the first time for the Jayhawks. Here's Tharp working against Stevie Clark. They spread the floor. 9 to shoot. Tharp, tight defense. To the baseline. Tharp on a kick. Frankamp gives it up. Shot clock violation. Or was it? Black got it off in time, but just in enough time. It goes front rim.
Just barely got that off in time.
Clark the pull-up pop. Rebound. Nash wheels inside and gives it away. Turnover, Oklahoma State. Selden. Frankamp doesn't go. And a push. Tarik Black called on the foul.
How about the effort there by Smart? He comes out of nowhere. And a great job of, in essence, selling that Marcus Smart to get the foul. And more importantly for him, to get to the free throw line.
They don't keep the stat, but there's no doubt that Marcus Smart leads the country in appearances on the floor.
Yes.
And it may not even be close.
It's amazing. Again, we talked about it at the top. It's such a unique skill to, in essence, always be around the action. And that speaks a lot about his competitive spirit on the floor.
17 fouls against Kansas. We asked Travis Ford about Smart as Embiid checks back in. He said he's really running the team this year. Last year he was still learning how to be a point guard, but his relentlessness is contagious with the rest of the team.
It is, and it's going to have to be for the rest of this half in particular because of the foul trouble. Not as deep, Oklahoma State, as Kansas, so they can really ill afford to have some of their core guys missing extended minutes.
Brandon Green is in, and he nails a three. The freshman from Juliet, Georgia.
And Bill Self talked about wanting to try to get that young man more minutes. Beautiful stroke there with the triple.
Smart to the hoop, scoops it inside. Denied. Embiid, do not go in there. Murphy has it rejected. Embiid big against Little. Kick out for Selden. Open look, Green the other side. No good. Forte the board. 13-point lead for Kansas. Smart to the hoop. He draws the foul.
And how about Joel Embiid coming from the weak side? Look at the quickness to gather. You know, I thought he went through the rim. I thought that initially, but he sure did. Yeah, went through the rim. That should have been a goaltend on Embiid, but the action was so fast, the officials obviously missed it.
Brandon Green is called on the foul, and Smart is back at the free throw line where he's 4 out of 4. McDonald's All-American coming out of high school, Marcus High School, Flower Mound, Texas, along with Phil Forte.
But a lot of time here in this first half. If you're Oklahoma State, you just want to keep picking away. The free throws allows them to set their defense. It forces Kansas to have to execute against the press, and then as they back into that zone, last few possessions haven't been as good for Kansas.
11-point cushion now for the Jayhawks. 5.5 to go in this first half. Against the zone, Perry Ellis. Too strong. Embiid. And a foul called. If it's Nash, it's number 3, and it is. LeBron Nash. 3 fouls at the 5:24 mark of this first half.
And that's a tough break there if you're Oklahoma State. One of the issues, though, weak side, when you go zone with a 1-3-1, that puts Smart weak side opposite, which means his responsibility is going to be Embiid. That is just a difficult challenge, even for a guy as talented and athletic as Marcus Smart.
Substitution. Socek is in. Nash will sit. And Joel Embiid will get a second free throw, his first point of the day. It's hard to believe. He started playing at the age of 16. He was really more of a volleyball guy. And he attended a basketball camp held by Luke Richard Ba'amute, the former UCLA star, now with the Sacramento Kings, in Cameroon. And that's where he was discovered. Smart trying to go in for the big finish. And a foul is called. And now technicals are going to be assessed. Smart was laying on the ground. Stevie Clark, the freshman playing in his first ever game here at Allen Fieldhouse, was in on the action there.
Smart with a strong, aggressive attack there. Doesn't get to finish.
Kansas player fell down. Selden.
Yeah, but see, that's in all fairness. Wayne Selden can't walk over a guy in that situation. That's a bit antagonistic in that case, and that's going to cause that kind of reaction. I sure as heck know if I'm a player in that situation, I don't want someone walking over me to get to my teammate.
All right, let's see where Selden comes from. Right here.
Yeah, you don't do that.
He goes over the top. And that's when Clark came in, because I think his perspective is your perspective.
Well, and it should be. And listen, Selden almost got away with it because Clark got the tech. Unfortunately for Selden, they get a double technical there, but it's definitely getting a little chippy here in this first half.
Stevie Clark has his second personal foul and a 10-team foul on Oklahoma State.
So Selden will get called on the foul. That was the initial foul call with Smart going to the hoop. And then Selden and Stevie Clark were involved underneath the basket, hovering over Marcus Smart.
I thought that was a bad call by the officials. They just came over. And they have a difficult job today because this thing is getting physical. But my issue is with Selden walking over the player. Listen, that's just not, you don't allow that as the official here to do that, because you know what you're doing as a player. I mean, it's Marcus Smart, 6'4", 230 pounds. It's not as if you didn't notice that he was there. And now Kansas is going to get 2 free throws because it was a dead ball contact call by the officials, which means they will now get 2 free throws and the basketball.
So Smart gets the 2 free throws. They catch Clark on the retaliation after he took exception for Selden stepping over his teammate Marcus Smart. Smart is now 8 of 8 at the free throw line. Nadir Tharp is at the line for Kansas.
And you know, it's interesting talking with both teams yesterday. You could sense that there was a little bit of anxiety, a little chippiness by both. Remember what happened here last year, folks, with Oklahoma State coming in here and getting the victory.
And this story has been building. At the end of that game, a win for Oklahoma State, and Marcus Smart was magnificent in the game, as was Markel Brown. But at the end of the game, the backflip on the court here at Allen Fieldhouse, and that has come up in conversation.
I thought he was magnificent with the backflip. I mean, I thought he stuck the landing. I give him an 8.5, 8.8. They must have a pretty good gymnastic program at Oklahoma State.
You're the American judge. Yes?
I would have to be, yeah.
Get it inside. Ellis the catch. Tough angle on the inside. Embiid goes down. And it is up close and personal right now between these two teams.
Jump ball was called there.
Tie up.
I thought that was a foul. I thought Embiid got fouled on that possession as well.
Kamari Murphy was trying to rip the ball away, and they just showed the replay on the big screen. Meanwhile, Kansas has a 12-point lead on the Cowboys. Into the hands of Smart. High screen, Socha. Smart releases the jumper. Short, long rebound. Control. Williams the pull-up pop. That rims out. And Embiid has got it for Kansas.
It's an important stretch, really, for both teams. If you're Kansas, you have clearly outplayed Oklahoma State. You want to finish this half solidly and not allow them to cut into that lead or get momentum.
Ellis catches, creates space, and a foul call. Perry Ellis is going to the free throw line. Oklahoma State is shooting 25% from the field. This is a team that shoots 49%. They're just not making shots. Whatever they've been able to do with the free throw line has kept them in it. And the foul called on Murphy, his first. One of the morning's most outspoken sports talk teams has been unleashed on a nation. Don't miss Boomer and Carton, weekday morning, starting at 6 Eastern on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Ellis off the mark, and a foul called on Socek off the rebound action.
I tell you, I've been thoroughly impressed with Kansas' offensive discipline and then also how aggressive they've been on the offensive glass. Really, Embiid did a great job with his quickness there to force that foul. And you talked about the field goal percentage of Oklahoma State, in part because they have not been able to get in transition. They're typically a team that does not like to play against a set defense, but that's what they've had to do primarily here in this first half.
Joel Embiid won a state title with the Rock School in his 1 year of high school basketball. His footwork has been really impressive for a guy that's just learning the game. That has been natural to him in the paint. 1 out of 2 at the free throw line. 13-point lead for Kansas. We'll hit the 4-minute mark of this first half. Phil Forte, his dad, Phil, played football at Kansas. That's Phil Forte III on the court now for Oklahoma State. Pressure. Gives up his dribble. 9 to shoot. Cowboys are yet to get into a set. A 3-ball. He hits.
That's a big shot there. That was important. A nice job with the penetration by Kamari Murphy in finding Forte.
9 points now for Forte on 3 threes. Embiid out of the post. Selden and a wraparound foul. Smart tried to knock it away from behind.
Yeah, early on it's been all Kansas, but here something positive happening for Oklahoma State. 10-point lead, still a lot of time. Well, and it's been about the defense of Kansas here in this first half.
Neither player has found a rhythm in this first half. 3.5 to play. And Kansas, the number 15 team in the country, up by 10 on 9th-ranked Oklahoma State. Wayne Selden Jr. at the free throw line, McDonald's All-American. Was actually the leading scorer for the East in that All-American game. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Greg Gumbel, Doug Gottlieb, Seth Davis. They'll get you caught up with what's going on. A very busy day in college basketball. That's coming up on AT&T at the half. Wiggins now on the Kansas bench. And Selden knocks down a pair. 12-point lead for Kansas.
We talked about it earlier, Bert. You're seeing the growth and maturity of this young Kansas team playing defense the way Bill Self wants. They've been very disciplined here in this first half.
Better pressure on Forte. Socek too strong. And a rebound for Embiid. Kansas in no rush. Embiid has 6 boards in the first half. Spread the floor. Selden.
Oh my goodness!
Big finish! Joel Embiid. The thunderous jam on a special delivery from Tharp. Rebounded by Selden. 14-point lead for Kansas.
They have gotten a terrific rhythm in how to attack this zone of Oklahoma State, and because they're a little smaller and less athletic on that front line now, unable to deal with the size of Embiid.
And Tharp steps out of bounds along the sideline.
Take a look at here, just a terrific delivery by Selden, and maybe an even better catch and finish by Embiid. Wow.
So Selden with the beautiful pass, and they just showed it to the crowd inside Allen Fieldhouse. Embiid devouring the defense on that play.
You know, he's as physically gifted.
Smart to the rim, gives it up.
Nice
for the easy layup. Murphy.
Not to cut you off, but he's as physically gifted as any big I've seen. I got to go back to maybe Dwight Howard at this stage of his career. His physique is really unparalleled at this level.
4th assist for Smart. 2 minutes to go. First half. Lining it up. Selden with 3.
I'll tell you what, we haven't given Wayne Selden Jr. enough credit with how well he's progressed in his freshman campaign and been given the responsibility to guard Smart here in the half court. Done a really good job.
Markel Brown, he's been quiet for Oklahoma State. Brown, the penetration. Swatted by Embiid, number 3. And Oklahoma State will retain it. It was out of bounds with 1:34 to go.
We're starting to see the emergence of Joel Embiid here. Again, a terrific job of going vertical, keeping his hands extended, and then also keeping the ball alive as a shot blocker. That's also a very unique skill and a player really that doesn't have nearly the experience that most kids would have at this stage.
There are so many NBA scouts. And we've heard numbers, 25. We've heard 50 because they're scattered around the arena. You don't know who's who necessarily representing pro teams.
Yeah, there are lots of them here, and with good reason.
Smart. Shot clock violation. And the frustration level is high right now for Marcus Smart and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They are down 15 to Kansas. And the blue and crimson crowd has had a huge impact from the start. Selden offers it up. Too strong. Rebound and follow. Brennan Green.
And I got to say, this is the first time all season in the games I've watched of Oklahoma State where they have been disrupted. They've lost games, but they typically get what they want. Not today. Kansas defensively as good as I've seen all season. Intense, focused, connected, passionate.
As a quarterback.
On the road here in Lawrence, and this can overwhelm you.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. When you factor in this environment and then also how good Kansas has been defensively. I mean, they have just been as connected as I've seen anybody all season long. It's impressive to watch. But if you're Oklahoma State, you really just got to get back to playing as a unit. Right now, a beautiful finish there by Tharp. There's a lot of self-willing going on by Oklahoma State. A lot of guys trying to make plays instead of playing together. That's got to start to happen if they want to have any chance of getting back in this game.
It's an 11-2 run for Kansas. We're down to 27 seconds to play in this first half. Clark to Murphy, and he connects.
And that's an example there. Good execution offensively. The ball swung from strong to weak. Heads were up. Floor was spaced, and you end up getting a good look for Oklahoma State.
17-point lead for Kansas. Down to 5 seconds left. Tharp on a kick. Selden, a 3. Off the rim. Forte the board, and that's how the half will end. Halftime here in Lawrence. 47-30. Kansas leading Oklahoma State in a Big 12 showdown as we send it to Greg Gumbel in New York. They score 16 points off of Oklahoma State turnovers, and the points in the paint, it is all Jayhawks. Defensively, that stood out as well.
It really did, and as impressive as the points in the paint were, to me, the points off, the turnovers, the shot blocking, just the overall focus from a defensive standpoint was so impressive by Kansas in that first half, and this is just the icing on the cake, that transition opportunity. And you look at these three guys, folks, their three leading scorers have not really showed up today. Again, credit Kansas defensively for taking maybe the best guard in America out of this game thus far.
Well, Iron Eagle, Greg Anthony, 16,200 of our closest friends, like literally right here. They're right on top of the action.
It's pretty intimate in here today, and it's as good an environment as we have really in college basketball. This has been a lot of fun. Let's see if this second half can get a little bit more entertaining. If Oklahoma State can settle down. First time all season I've seen them be rattled by an opponent.
Wiggins will trigger in. We're underway in the second half with the Kansas Jayhawks up big on Oklahoma State. Trying to get it inside. They turn it over. Perry Ellis was setting up on the interior. 30 points in the first half. That ties the fewest this season. December 17th game against Delaware that Oklahoma State won.
A little different animal today here with this Kansas group.
Here's Nash playing with 3 fouls. Pull up pop. Rimming, no. Rebounded by Wiggins.
And let's watch Nash, because the other issue, too, he has 3 fouls, which means he can still not be as aggressive defensively as he would like to be.
Ellis curls. No good. Smart with the board. Smart all the way. High floater. Embiid again. A factor inside. Kansas pushing it up the floor. Embiid rolling to the rim. Foul is called.
And that possession, to me, is as impressive defensively as I've seen. The hardest thing to guard is when the guard gets the defensive rebound and is an attacker. That's what Marcus Smart was. But they loaded Kansas so well defensively, able to contest him at the rim and deny the finish.
Third foul on Markel Brown for Oklahoma State. And it sends Embiid back to the free throw line. Major upside for Embiid. He's been a quick learner, came in very raw. But even Bill Self said, we expected him to be a big part of this team. But for it to happen as quickly as it has, nobody anticipated that.
No, it has been amazing. But the one thing you want to focus on is his footwork. And that's really what shows you what a player's potential could possibly be. He has just unbelievable footwork. He's so graceful. You just don't see 7-footers with the type of lateral quickness that he has out on the floor.
Preseason co-favorites in the Big 12, Oklahoma State and Kansas. Right now, it's all Jayhawks, 48-30 against the Cowboys. Smart on a dump down. They double Nash quickly. Oh, Embiid followed the ball the whole time. Another block for Embiid, and it's number 4. Shot clock is down to 2. Oklahoma State can't get a shot off, and another violation for the Cowboys.
And there's an example of Embiid again coming from that weak side. How about this? He overruns the double team, but the presence to stay with the play, and he does a great job with his gather. Again, he goes vertically so well.
Brian Williams, the steal, and he gets the roll.
And that's what we didn't see from this Oklahoma State team in the first half. Their ability to disrupt and turn over Kansas, to get out in transition. And there you go, back-to-back possessions by Kansas where they're a little lax with the basketball.
Marcus Smart is trying to pump up this Oklahoma State team. He just pumped the fist and motioned to his teammates that that's what has to happen with the pressure defense. Kansas 1 shot, 3 turnovers early in this second half. 2 minutes gone by.
And if you're Oklahoma State, you have to keep in mind Kansas hasn't played 40 minutes like we saw in that first half all season. So they have been prone because of that inexperience to lapses, which will allow you to get back in the game.
Smart directing traffic. Embiid came on a double initially. Brown will line it up, and he hits a 3.
And now you can see a little bit better rhythm and not the same intensity by Kansas defensively here in the second half.
6 points now for Markel Brown. Up top, Perry Ellis on a rack attack.
But how about the big fella Embiid with the alley-oop?
Embiid the pass. Ellis the rebound off the Nash miss. And that juices up this crowd. 50-35, Kansas. Embiid. Embiid off the mark.
It's one of the few times you've seen him try to do a little bit more than he has in the repertoire right now. And there you go with the triple.
Markel Brown is starting to heat up. Third 3 for him.
And all of a sudden a 12-point game. A lot of time left, and there's another turnover. Just a loss of focus by this Kansas team here to start this second half.
And a timeout taken. 16:48 more. Half the services of big man Michael Cobbins, ruptured left Achilles. Ford said, look, it's never fun to deal with injuries, but the timing of this one was so difficult right at the start of conference play. They just have to do it now in a different way, come up with some new ways to defend big men like they're trying to do against Embiid. They have a week off. They won't play again until 1 week from today, West Virginia. And he said that's going to be a big, pivotal time for them to work some things out defensively.
That's a great point. And listen, I think with Cobbins today, even if he played with how good Kansas was in that first half, they'd still be up. There's a big Embiid! That's the way you want to come out defensively after the timeout if you're Kansas. But Kansas was just so good in that first half. I don't know that it would have mattered, but big picture, he allows you to set your rotation. He puts guys in positions of comfort on the floor. Nice finish there by Nash with the mid-range. And it's going to be an adjustment for those guys, this team, as they progress throughout the conference season.
Embiid thought about the lob once again for Ellis. Instead, they back it out. Thorpe on the skip pass. Wiggins to Embiid. The back end. Ellis. He's crafty down there, but he couldn't finish it.
Even though they don't score a good offensive possession if you're Kansas.
LeBron Nash inside. The shovel shot doesn't go. Sticks with it. Nash blocked by Embiid, and a foul is called. And that's going to be number 4 on Nash.
And you can see the frustration by Nash, but again, the discipline by Embiid defensively doesn't leave his feet, stays vertical, puts the pressure on Nash to try to finish.
CBS Sports coverage of NCAA men's basketball will continue after this message and a word from your local station. 2 free throws and the ball for Oklahoma State.
And that's a huge possession. You know, you get the 2 free throws. You got a 10-point game potentially if Forte knocks this down. And I think the correct call, they call it a dead ball. Dead ball contact is what it's called. And listen, I thought that first play against Kansas State was clearly a flagrant. The last 2, believe it or not, I think are more a lack of his instincts, because it's just a reaction that's not necessarily natural for him. But as he progresses with his understanding of how to play, I think he'll learn how to harness that.
But Nash is now on the bench with his 4 fouls for Oklahoma State. 12-5 run to open up this second half for the Cowboys. They have cut the Kansas lead to 10. Forte swings it. Murphy. Good move by Murphy. And takes it inside for the flush.
And that's one of the areas Embiid got out on the perimeter, bites on the pump fake, and no rotation weak side for Kansas.
The lead is single digits. It's 8 for the Jayhawks. Just over 5 minutes gone by in the second half. Selden puts it on the deck. Works his way in for the floater.
Yeah, big basket there. And Selden had a solid game here on both ends. Really had a lot of the responsibilities we talked about earlier defensively against Smart, who is still yet to really put his imprint on the game.
Markel Brown to Forte. Pulls the trigger. Murphy couldn't grab it. And it's last touched by Oklahoma State. Joel Embiid. You could tell that as this Kansas team gains confidence, Embiid's going to play a big role if this team accomplishes the things that they believe they may accomplish come March.
That's a great point. He's really going to be so critical because he's such a terrific defender.
Wiggins loses the ball. Smart, a kick. Forte, bottom for 3.
It's the second time we've seen that off a turnover where Smart has found Forte in transition for the triple. And folks, it's a 7-point game. And more importantly, Kansas has lost that intensity level that they had. You can see right now they're a little bit on their heels. A 17-7 run here in this second half. And there the turnover, and Forte is running right to that 3-point line. Tharp had the contained penetration. Smart with the good read. Oklahoma State back in business. And the easiest thing to do is to play when you're down 20, because now you're playing not to lose if you're Kansas, and so you're not doing the things you did to get up by 19 in that first half. Really hard to flip that switch from an intensity standpoint. That's what Bill Self is going over in that halftime, in that huddle, I should say, during the timeout.
Smart's a pull-up pop, and he is off, knocked to the outside. Brown lines it up, and he buries a 3. Markel Brown with another deep one. It's a 20-7 Oklahoma State run in this second half. 4-point lead for Kansas. Tharp, his jumper is there. A triple.
I'll tell you, how big has he been? That's what you call just making a good decision. His strength, folks, is that jump shot.
Brown off the rim. Embiid the board.
And I tell you, Nadir Tharp has done such a great job at that point of allowing the other guys to have an impact, allowing them to be more involved, not being ball dominant, just terrific with what he's done in terms of his maturity. And of course, as soon as we pump him up, makes the ill-advised pass.
Forte nails it. It's a 3 for Forte. 5 triples for Phil Forte, the sophomore. He's got 17 overall. 57-53. Backing it out, Traylor. Almost had it turned over. Now it's Tharp. They come up on 12 minutes to play in the second half. Traylor makes his move on a kick. Jumper, Wiggins. Rebounded by Forte on the weak side. Forte picked up by Mason. Marcus Smart, the curl. It's blocked. Embiid has got another. Joel Embiid, 6 blocks today to lead Kansas defensively.
Such a deterrent at the rim. Embiid has been today, and I tell you, I'm still really impressed, though, with what Oklahoma State's been able to do in spite of not having a lot of impact from either Nash or Smart.
Embiid, the touch.
That's a beautiful play. That was a good possession for Kansas. They had gotten sped up a little bit by the pressure of Oklahoma State and got away from getting the ball inside. Very good possession there by Kansas.
Embiid is starting to flirt with a triple-double. 9 points, 9 rebounds, 6 blocks for the freshman. 59-53, Kansas. Smart against Mason. Embiid lurking. Brown leans into it and nails a triple. Markel Brown smoking from the outside. 5 threes. He's got 15 points.
Folks, he had 5 threes in their win last season here against Kansas. Can Oklahoma, they have to understand basketball, you can lose that momentum like that. And that's what happened to them. Now they're trying to regroup and gather, and you can see the confidence not quite where it was when we saw them make that run in the first half.
Oklahoma State has forced Kansas into 8 second-half turnovers while only turning the ball over once since halftime. 26-12 is the second-half score in favor of the Cowboys.
You know, we talked about Marcus Smart, too. He hasn't scored it as well as he typically does, but he's starting to create opportunities for his team, and he's also doing the job defensively in this press.
Smart doesn't have a field goal. 0 of 7. Williams got his fingertips on that ball, but pretty secure.
I'm even more impressed with him, though, because he's struggling with the shot, because he doesn't allow his shot to dictate how he plays the game. 7 rebounds and 7 assists, and that's truly what's special about this young man.
Got a foul called inside. Kamari Murphy trying to use the body on Embiid. We'll step aside. Back to Lawrence after this.
This game, and all of a sudden, if you're Kansas, where did all of that energy, where did the activity and the aggressiveness go? They're going to have to figure out a way to find it here for the next 10:35.
Yeah, we've talked about the turnovers. Kansas getting rattled in this second half with 8 turnovers. But Oklahoma State is taking advantage of it. 16-0. They've outscored Kansas in the points off turnovers category second half.
Yeah, and that's really, we talked about at the top, it's been the Achilles heel of this Kansas team at times. They've had a couple games this year where they've committed 24 turnovers, and they have those stretches, and this, right now, they're in the midst of one.
And Tharp turns it over, trying to get it back. He does from Smart. Shot clock resets. Kansas trying to settle down here in a 3-point game. Mason and Tharp sharing the backcourt right now. Tharp, that's a 3. Got it.
How about that possession? He almost commits the turnover. And then the presence there. A nice pick and roll creates just enough space to knock down the triple.
Inconsistent in his first 2 years. He's building that consistency now in his junior year. Smart still looking for his first field goal. Off the double. Murphy, book it.
And that's what Smart's done. The adjustment that Travis Ford and Marcus Smart have made, instead of those pick and rolls where they can trap and take him out, they've gone to the post where he can see where the defense is coming from and doing a great job of picking them apart and creating opportunities for his teammates.
Mason lines it up, and he cans a triple. Frank Mason comes in shooting 25% from long range. And that ignites the crowd.
Gets them back into it. And a lot of people have talked about Kansas not being a good shooting team.
Brown fouled by Wiggins.
To me, it's not about their ability to make shots. It's been more about their shot selection. I think they've gotten much better in that area. Much more of the threes now starting to come in rhythm. That's why in conference as a team they have shot the ball exceptionally well from beyond the arc.
65-58, Kansas in front. Third foul on Wiggins. He sits for the Jayhawks. We come up on 9 minutes to play. The shooting of Brown and Forte getting Oklahoma State back in this game. Can Smart get it going offensively? Brown the jumper. Too strong. Rebounded by Traylor for Kansas. Iron Eagle, Greg Anthony, the rest of our CBS crew here in Lawrence, Kansas. Contact on the inside, and it is a blocking foul against Smart. 65-58, the number 15 team in the country, Kansas, leading number 9, Oklahoma State.
Actually, that's a very good call there. Smart had not established position there, even though Taylor was a little bit out of control. Good call by the official.
So Traylor goes to the free throw line. And the crowd to a hush.
We know a little bit about the game of basketball here in Lawrence.
Free throw shooting, Kansas is 11 of 16. Oklahoma State is 12 out of 14. Another attempt for Traylor. And the Chicago native hits on a pair. Build the lead back up to 9. Brown on an entry. Smart draws 3 defenders. Williams is open. Can't hit the 3. Rebound to Kansas. Mason off the deflection and last touch by the Jayhawks.
How about the instincts there? Really Smart. Terrific on both ends. Offensively there in the paint. He baited Kansas into that double team to create that opportunity. And here the quickness with the hands. Couldn't quite tell if it was off of Mason or not on that possession.
That's 15 turnovers now for Kansas, 10 in the second half. Smart, ill-advised 3, and it's rebounded by Selden. Can bring the lead back to double digits. Thorpe met by Williams. On a kick, Traylor steps into it, and he cans it.
Nadir Thorpe just doing a terrific job of settling the ship here for the Jayhawks.
Fans on their feet in Lawrence. The lead is 11 with 7:41 to go. Brown using the Smart screen, a switch. He's got Mason there defensively. The spin, Brown, the stumble. The jump shot for Murphy, way off. Rebound snared by Brown. Smart's got it. Shot clock doesn't reset. 7-0 run for Kansas. Smart to the hook. Oh! A major slot for Embiid. Forte. Ridiculous range, and it's off the mark.
He is unbelievable with his ability to play out of space. He covers so much ground. Such great quickness. And those instincts continue to improve. His 7th block shot here today.
Embiid on the offensive end. To the rim. And he traveled. Shuffled the feet.
Not often that a 7-footer can come out of nowhere. That's what happened on that possession from Embiid. The denial at the rim. Got 10 rebounds to go along with those 9 points. And what he's done is he's taken away the heart and soul offensively of Oklahoma State. This is a team that gets to the free throw line 31 times a game. They've only taken 14 here today. And not only has he blocked 8, he's altered another 6 or 7. So he has totally changed the way in which they want to play offensively. Nothing on the interior has come easy.
Big stretch here for Oklahoma State. Can they stay alive against Kansas? Now down by 11. Off of the timeout, Forte swings it. LeBron Nash is back in with 4 fouls. Stevie Clark, the freshman from Oklahoma City. Brown rises up for a three, and it's rebounded by Mason.
Not necessarily the shot you want if you're Oklahoma State, and exactly what you want to give if you're Kansas, a contested three.
Ball deflected off the miss by Mason, out of bounds, and Marcus Smart sat after the timeout literally for a minute, and now he's back.
Well, and the importance of him on the floor, because even though he hasn't shot it well, he still commands the same type of respect offensively, which allows for him to be a creator for his teammates in the half court.
Lob it, Smart, and there's his first field goal of the day on the inside. 10 points now for Marcus Smart.
And Brian Nash with a nice post pass there, back in the game with those 4 fouls.
Lob and throw! Embiid! A major throwdown! He's got the double digits now in points and rebounds. 11 points, 10 boards, a career high 8 blocks. (71-60) Kansas. Double team on Smart. The big body of Embiid. Inside, Nash. Extra feed, a turnover.
And that turnover was caused by Embiid because Nash didn't want to challenge him. He hasn't had any success against him. And if you're Oklahoma State, you got to space the floor a little better, I should say, to give him outlets after the penetration.
Embiid, left hand.
Bird, there are a lot of great freshmen in the country, and this draft upcoming could be a really special one. But for my money, Joel Embiid is clearly the best talent we have in college basketball right now. He's not the most polished, but his upside for me far exceeds anybody else I've seen on the collegiate scene. And that's no disrespect to all these great players. That speaks more to just how special this young man is.
After the Murphy bucket, Kansas 4.5 to play. They lead Oklahoma State by 11. Nadir Tharp, one-on-one with Forte. Mason looking inside, keep it on the perimeter now. Selden with 7 to shoot. High screen Embiid. Selden. Tough shot. Never hits the rim. And it's controlled by Nash for the Cowboys.
And still 4 minutes to go. Still time.
Count it.
Yeah.
Goaltending.
They missed one of those earlier in terms of a goaltend, but I just love the aggressiveness of Embiid and also the attack there by Nash.
73-64, back to single digits, and even 4 minutes to play at the Fob. Contact and a technical assessed to Brown. After the foul on Embiid, Brown picks up the tee. A timeout. Joel Embiid has put together a highlight reel tonight at home in Lawrence, Kansas.
He was jawing at Traylor after that play. You see Marcus Smart also heard it, was trying to persuade the official not to tee him up, but to no avail, and fouls out with 2 technicals today.
15 points for Brown. He'll spend the rest of the game on the bench. And Nadir Tharp is at the free throw line. Shoots it at 75% for Kansas. 3:57 to go. Markel Brown, and as you mentioned, Marcus Smart knew it.
Yeah, and if you're Travis Ford, the thing you're most disappointed in is you still got a chance to win the game. It was a 9-point game at that point with 4 minutes to go. So is it likely? Maybe not. But listen, we've seen stranger things happen in the game of college basketball. And as one of your veterans, you cannot lose control emotionally in situations like that.
17 now for Nadir Tharp. Selden tosses to the backcourt and Embiid. Kansas up by 11. Nason. Smart The tie-up and possession arrow to Oklahoma State as he ripped it out of the hands of Embiid.
Folks, it's not often a guy makes one field goal. It can have as much impact on the game. But that's what Marcus Smart has done here today.
Smart, it rims out. Look good coming off the fingertips. Kansas can't save it. Selden out of bounds. Sunday, January 26th. Don't miss live performances you won't see anywhere else by Katy Perry, Robin Thicke, Lorde, and many more on music's biggest night. The Grammy Awards, hosted by LL Cool J. Sunday, January 26th, only CBS. Stevie Clark, freshman, returns for Oklahoma State. Murphy on a bounce. Quick double. That's been the game plan against Smart. Diagonal feed for Nash. Nash the jumper. Rebounded by Embiid.
And Oklahoma State has not spaced the floor well on the weak side when they try to run that pick and roll. They get Embiid 30 feet from the basket, but the weak side spacing not really good here down the stretch.
And Embiid is hacked. Embiid will go to the free throw line. And it's Murphy with his third personal.
They just have had no answer on both sides of the floor for Embiid. He has just been the total package in this game.
Well, you start looking at teams that could make a run, and what separates the great teams in college basketball? A guy like this. There just aren't many teams that have a 7-footer with the skill level around the rim. Missing at the free throw line. And a block shot. This time it's Traylor getting in on the act.
Yeah, Traylor the beneficiary. But it was Embiid again because of his presence that forced the hesitation here. He didn't want to go straight up. You see, he's trying to clear space. All his attention is focused on Embiid, and Traylor comes in from the backside.
Clark lobs it in. Nash to the rim. Oh, major finish. LeBron Nash hard to the hole.
Yeah, that's hard to block when you play with that much force.
75-66. We've got 2:39 left to play. Tharp. Traylor out of control. And one official has a block. The other has a charge. And now John Higgins and Doug Sermons come together to talk about it.
Sermons was on the baseline. He's the one that called the charge. I think it's going to, I wonder if they're looking to see if he was outside of the circle there. Can't see from that angle. Yeah, he's clearly out. That's why that call is so difficult to make. Still not sure which is going to be the end result, block or charge.
Sermons had the charge. Higgins had the block, working the sideline.
What do you have?
Well, I have a broadcasting job that doesn't require me to make those calls.
Well, I'm just asking your opinion.
Oh, my opinion.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
I thought it was a charge.
Yeah.
On the live look, it felt like a charge where he committed.
Well, I can guarantee you Murphy will tell you it felt like a charge. Traylor's coming full speed down that lane. But that, again, even though, you know, his position's there, but he does try to move in.
They are calling a double foul.
So they're like you, partner. They didn't want to own up and make a call. The officials, they went with the double.
They went Switzerland, huh?
Yeah, and possession arrow favors Kansas.
Don't want to offend anybody.
That is, I don't know that I've ever seen that call on a block charge. And I'm not saying that I agree or disagree. I just have never seen that call made.
Oklahoma State's been in foul trouble from the early stages when Williams and Nash picked up a couple of quick ones. We've got 2:20 to go. The double foul allows Kansas to retain possession. Traylor out of bounds, but tipped by Oklahoma State.
And this stretch really important for both teams. no matter the outcome. If you're Kansas, good experience to get against a terrific defensive team to see if you can be poised and disciplined down the stretch. And from Oklahoma State standpoint, just to continue to set the tone of how you're going to compete no matter the circumstance in a game.
Count it down. We approach 2 minutes to go. Tharp, the stop and go. High off the window. Nadir Tharp has been a difference maker.
You know, you made the point earlier about the impact of Indy, but I would go a step different. The key to their team for me is going to be Nadir Tharp. They're going to go as far as his play takes them.
Kick out. Forte a three. Automatic.
That guy is lights out from beyond.
20 points now for Phil Forte. And a timeout with 1:41 left.
Here's a question for you.
Syracuse ended. Syracuse by 3. Pittsburgh's Lamar Patterson tries the intentional miss. It didn't work. Syracuse wins it by 5. They remain unbeaten along with Arizona and Wichita State. Ian and Greg.
All right, Greg, thanks very much. And Greg and I will be in attendance next week in Miami when the Hurricanes
Now,
host.
where'd you go to school again?
What's that?
Where'd you go to college? Where'd you
Went to
attend?
Forest Hills High School in
college.
Queens.
You did graduate, right? Don't you have to have a degree to do this?
Yeah, I went to Syracuse.
Oh, okay. I was just checking.
You knew that.
I forgot. I didn't know if you went there or maybe.
You were trolling a little bit there.
I was curious. I wanted to find out.
Syracuse, Miami next week here on CBS.
Man, that's going to be fun. Syracuse, a terrific team.
Selden swinging the arms and gets called for the foul as he hit Clark. So Syracuse still undefeated. Arizona, the #1 team in the country, 18-0. And Wichita State, 19-0.
How about the job that Greg Marshall has done there? Remember, folks, that team, a Final Four participant a season ago. And you can see here the swinging of the elbow. Not a lot of contact, but you don't necessarily have to flush a guy to get that call made. And I tell you what, Marcus Smart has definitely been working on his acting skills because he does a terrific job of making sure the official has to make a decision. And there was contact on that play.
Somehow, Kansas, at least as of this moment, has survived 15 second-half turnovers.
Well, how about what they did against Iowa State? They turned it over 24 times on the road and in essence, won a game comfortably. I mean, that speaks volumes about the other facets of the game that they've already honed and how scary can they be if they're able to, in essence, shore that aspect of the game. And now what they're trying to determine if that's a flagrant 2. I don't think that warrants that. It wasn't violent, and it was also a basketball move. He didn't swing his shoulders or his arms away from his body. He swung his entire body around, and I would assume they're going to keep that with the call they made.
Is Marcus Smart actually better off if the officials don't look at this, because then they don't see the acting job? They just kind of move on with their business.
But you know what? In all fairness, as a player, you're going to react that way. Trust me, if I swung my elbow at your face full speed, I guarantee you'd move back.
Do you want to test the theory? Do you want to not even mention that? Because I just flinched by the very thought of it. 77-69, Kansas in front. Number 15 team in the country, leading 9th-ranked Oklahoma State. 1:29 to play in this second half.
And I got to say, Doug Sermons just came over for about the 42nd time today to explain the call, and we do appreciate it. But they call flagrant 1 because he caught him with the lead elbow, which in essence means that he's making a basketball motion. That's the correct call. I'm just glad they didn't go with the flagrant 2 because I didn't think that was warranted. Smart. And folks, again, you know, we praised this Kansas team all game and deservedly so, but if he makes this free throw, it's a 2-possession game.
And he does. 6-point lead for Kansas.
And they have the ball. So this is far from over.
We're down to 1:27 to play. High screen, Murphy sets it. Selden recovers against Smart. Smart fires, rimming, no good, and poked out of bounds. Last touch by Oklahoma State.
take a look at Travis Ford trying to get the attentions of the official to take a look at that play to confirm that it was off of Oklahoma State. And that is clearly off of Kansas.
That's going to be Cowboys basketball.
Yes, good job by Travis Ford of making the officials aware of that.
Last touch, Embiid got his hand on it at the very last moment. And the officials are taking a look at it. And if it's not Embiid, it would be Traylor. And they'll change the call. Oklahoma State will have it with 1:13 to play.
We've got a pretty good game here today. I mean, you can see why there's so much excitement about the Big 12. These two teams have gone at it. A lot of adversity for Oklahoma State, foul trouble, injuries. And how about Marcus Smart? Big time post up there to cut it to 4.
Timeout with 1:06 to go. A 7-0 run for Oklahoma State. Game reset. Kansas has 2 timeouts left. Oklahoma State is out. The foul issues for Oklahoma State. Kansas has 14 fouls. And Andrew Wiggins will check back in for the Jayhawks. This team up by 4 with 1:06 remaining.
Yeah, haven't talked a lot about him, but Marcus Smart, folks. This guy only 2 of 13 from the field, but 10 of 10 from the line, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. One of the reasons you got to love him as a potential Naismith winner is because he just has an ability to affect the game probably in more facets than anybody in the country.
They just get it across the line. We are under a minute to play. Kansas 77, Oklahoma State 73. Mason swings it. Tharp, who has controlled the tempo here for Kansas throughout, and now looking to clear it out with 10 to shoot.
Yeah, no reason to foul the Oklahoma State. Plenty of time. You just need a stop here.
Tharp for 2. He's got it. Nadir Tharp knocks it down. 32.5 remaining.
And you know, the officials stopped the play. The clock was running, but the reason it was running is because the ball had caromed off of Marcus Smart. And that's why the clock had to start.
6-point lead for Kansas. Oklahoma State has to work quickly here. Smart, 25 seconds left. To the rim, Smart lays it in. Going to the goal with a purpose.
Now you're going to have to foul quick. No timeouts left for Oklahoma State. And these free throws here will be really important for the freshman, Mason.
That is 9 team fouls, so a 1-and-1 coming up. Frank Mason out of Petersburg, Virginia, attended Petersburg High School and finished as the 2nd all-time leading scorer in that school's history behind Moses Malone.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I'll tell you what, he's had a solid start to his campaign here, or career, I should say, for Kansas.
Averaging just under 7 points per game. First trip, and he misses at the line. We're down to 20 seconds to go. 4-point lead for the Jayhawks. Smart hands it off for Forte. 15 seconds left. Stacked up on the outside. Murphy to Forte. Fakes on a 3. Forte the shovel inside. Murphy knocked away. A steal, but out of bounds. Mason with 7.8 left.
How about Embiid on that possession? The lateral movement, and you can see it. The deflection there, but Mason steps out. But what a terrific job defensively of taking away the three-pointer by Kansas.
Of Oklahoma State, class of 1985, the head coach at Kansas in his 11th year with the Jayhawks program, and his team has a 4-point lead. The game reset. Oklahoma State has no timeouts remaining. They are down by 4 with the ball. 7.8 seconds left. Get it in. Forte, the corner pop. Oh, he nails it. It's a 1-point game with 5.7 left. Wiggins gets it in cleanly, and the quick foul. Double bonus now as Frank Mason will go to the line.
Now remember, Bill Self just took Embiid out so that they could switch all screens and pick and rolls, and just a breakdown defensively by Kansas. The one guy you don't want taking that shot. Forte, his 7th three.
23 points for Phil Forte. And now Frank Mason at the free throw line for a pair.
And the freshman just missed his last attempt. Extremely important.
72% shooter. Crowd goes quiet. Two-point game.
Again, no timeout for Oklahoma State. I'll be interested to see the strategy of Bill Self. Do they foul if he makes the free throw? How do they match up in transition? Embiid's back in the game.
Kansas led this one 77-66, but here we are. Free throw for Mason is off the mark. Smart gets it ahead. 80-78. Nash doesn't get a shot off. It's over. Kansas holds on 80-78 at Allen Fieldhouse. You get that March feeling, even though it's only January.
Yeah, how about the play by the freshman, Frank Mason? He misses 2 out of 3 free throws down the stretch. But the presence here and the quick hands to get that deflection as Nash was trying to get off the 3.
LeBron Nash was looking for the win. But Mason makes the play defensively, and Kansas gets it done. 80-78 the final. For Greg Anthony, this is Ian Eagle. So long from Lawrence. Tonight on CBS, Mike and Molly, 2 broke girls, intelligence in 48 hours. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports.